Howdy y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to the show. Today's video is pretty interesting, I think. It's been suggested to me a couple times, and I never even knew this. I never really thought about it. What is the world's biggest stadium? Now, if I were to guess, I would have, uneducated guess. I would have just guessed probably somewhere maybe in the U.S., maybe somewhere in Asia, like China or Japan, perhaps, maybe Australia. I really wouldn't know. The answer may surprise you. It definitely is going to surprise me as we learn about it here. Supposedly, it's Strov Stadium, and this is in Prague, in the Czech Republic. And that's very interesting because I would have never guessed that, and I've never even heard of that. And that's what this video is. It's the world's largest stadium, is one you might not have heard of. And here's the thing. This can be measured a lot of different ways, so there might be debates in the comments, and it depends on how you look at it. Some stadiums might be bigger in the way the seating works. I don't know. We're going to figure that out in this video. And then, of course, I've always heard that Indianapolis Motor Speedway here in the U.S. is like the biggest, quote-unquote stadium in the world. But that's more of a venue, right? That's a racetrack. So in my mind, I don't really call racetracks stadiums because I feel like they're different. So if we take Indy out of the equation, this would be the biggest one. Let's just try and figure this out, and it's kind of interesting. Does Europe really hold the biggest stadium in the world? Let's find out. This is from BR Football. This will be linked in the description down below, so you can check out this video in its entirety. Of course, browse their channel.
The largest stadium in modern human history is one you've probably never heard of, the Great Strahov Stadium.
Oh,
Prague,
Strahov,
the
sorry.
capital of the Czech
I said Strahov.
Republic, is home to a stadium like no other. Strahov Stadium has...
Jeez, look at this from 1938. Whoa. Dude, yeah, that looks huge. Because look at how many people make up these circles, and they're so spread out.
a capacity of 250,000, towering over the world's largest stadium in Pyongyang and dwarfing the likes of Wembley, Old Trafford, and Anfield. It is
250,000 people. What on earth?
over 10 times the size of some Premier League stadiums.
What's with all the fields? Holy smokes. Okay, that puts in perspective how big it is. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. This is like a weird, little field. Then we have cars right here. What? Look at all the seating on the outside. Jeez. Well, this is where the debates can happen, right? I mean, it's not one field and then a huge stadium around it, right? So, I mean, that could be argued. But at the same time, it's impressive how big it is when you see that there's 9 fields or 8 fields in this thing. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? These fields aren't small.
Its playing surface has space for 9 football pitches. Presently, it has 6 full-size pitches, 2 futsal variants, plus a building and a car park. The gargantuan stadium was built in the interwar period of the first Czechoslovak.
I mean, look at it. It dwarfs these buses. It's a line of buses, and it's just way bigger.
Slovak Republic for displays of mass gymnastics called the Sokol movement. Construction of the wooden stadium was overseen by the first president of Czechoslovakia,
years old.
And in 1932, the concrete grandstands were added. 1938's anti-war event saw a record attendance of 348,000. After World War II, the new communist government halted Sokol, but in 1955 introduced mass gymnastics again under the title of the Spartakiads.
I don't think some people realize how many people that is. 348,000 people in one spot.
In 1975, the stadium was renovated to the current structure, and after the fall of communism in 1989, the stadium found a new purpose. The Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, and others have played previously forbidden music to crowds of over 100,000, an important signal of liberation to the country. Sparta Prague took use of Strahov Stadium in 2003, the same year it became...
I wonder how they would organize a concert here because it's so big, right? Anyone want to weigh in on that? I mean, we saw pictures where these fields, I guess, weren't there. Because, they had all those people lined up in the circles, right? That was from the 30s or whatever, though. I I mean, it could be used for so many different events, right? Because it's just so colossal.
A UNESCO Cultural Heritage Site. To
And
this day, Sparta used the historic arena as their training ground.
Oh, okay.
The Great
Ooh, look at it. It's kind of rough now, huh?
Strahouse Stadium has fallen into disrepair over the years.
Damn.
Multiple repurposing plans have been put forward, such as conversion to apartments and housing a museum. But since it's a protected landmark, the stadium, which has stood for almost 100 years, likely won't be knocked down anytime soon.
Well, no, I would hope not. I mean, that is very interesting. A lot of the videos on this are pretty short, but I mean, you get the point, right? It's almost 100 years old. It's been used for a lot of different things. And it's just kind of mind-blowing how big it really is. I just had no idea. I'm not a stadium like expert by any means, but wow. I mean, I've heard of a lot of big stadiums pretty much around the world, like to an extent. Damn, I've never even heard of this one, and it's just giant. Okay, so we're gonna jump to Google Earth, and let's see if we go over here to Czechia, go to Prague. Let's see without even searching for it if we can find it. Just for a sec. I mean, that's kind of unlikely. I don't know my way around, obviously. A little like geo, detective here. I mean, it's so big. Shouldn't we be able to see it? Yeah? Well, I found one arena, but I don't believe that's what we're looking for. These are different, right? I mean, there's a lot of... Yeah, that's not it, right? All right, Strahouse Stadium. Ready? Let's see where it is from here. We were quite off. Okay, so it's over here. Let's see if I can get it to do the the rotation. Wow, look at that. I'm always amazed by Google Earth. Holy smokes. Wow, look at, so like, jeez, it's just so big. That is actually insane how big it is. Like if we're being real, like you look at the size of other structures around it. Honestly, this whole area is a little rough, or unless that's maybe under construction. That's like anywhere, right? A lot of pictures of Prague I've seen are like incredible. Looks like a beautiful place that I really want to go to. But then, of course, everywhere, right? Just everywhere. Every city has like, sort of rough areas or rundown areas. It's up on like a hill because all these roads coming down from it, go down. Like you can see the elevation. Like we're up here, and then look, all these houses and structures are down there, right? So it's kind of up on a hill, and then you have these little stadiums. I mean, they're not even little; they're just little compared to that. Like this is a pretty good stadium, or pretty good sized stadium right here, right? But I mean, everything's dwarfed by this thing. It's just insane. What's it say up here? Oh yeah, it takes you to Wikipedia. So yeah, now as of 2019, it's no longer in use for competitive events. It looks like it might be the training center, or maybe not even anymore. It is on a hill overlooking the old city. Yeah, it's capacity of 250,000 spectators, 56,000 seated. So that's weird. 56,000 seated, but it has capacity for more. It's in some sort of alternate form, seating or standing. I don't know. Made it larger than any current or former sports stadium, and the second largest sports venue ever, which I believe the biggest is Indy. That's what I've read. Indy, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Yeah, look at, they've had tons of concerts there. Well, at least for a while. Not any after '02, unless this list is wrong, which is definitely possible. In the last decade, several studies have looked at adaptive reuse and preservation of this unique structure. There are no plans to convert the extremely large Great Strahouse Stadium complex into a commercial zone, compete with hotels, restaurants, and shops. Another proposition was to convert the area into a leisure mecca for the 21st century. There were plans to rebuild the Olympic... Oh, that would have been interesting, as an Olympic village. if Prague had won a future bid. However, the bid in 2016 was unsuccessful. Well, that is pretty interesting. Let me tell you, you learn something new every day. I would love to hear your comments on this. What do you know and would like to share about this? And did you know this was the biggest stadium? Or do you think this is the biggest stadium? I know this could be like, you know, defined by different ways, right? Because it's huge, especially by surface area. I mean, it's 63,500 square meters. And then, of course, it can, you know, technically hold 250,000 people. At once, it even held 348,000 people, which is just unreal. But then again, it says only 56,000 seated, which I know there's stadiums that can hold more than that seated. I don't know. There's a bunch of elements to this, but it's definitely one of the most spectacular in size, crazy stadiums in the world, right? And I would have never guessed in Prague, in the Czech Republic, in Europe. I mean, it's very interesting. So keep up your awesome suggestions. I really like learning about random stuff like this, especially when it's a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, that's about it for this one, guys. I really did enjoy that. I hope you did too. Please throw a like on there if you did. And of course, subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. And until next time, y'all, I'll catch you later.